final storyteller today is brilliant and an amazing writer and a helper by nature and very tall. Doesn't like hugs, so I won't be hugging him at the end.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody, please welcome Josh Fritz.
Scandinavian romance right there. All right. Tonight I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to make you squirm. But you know what? That's a good thing. We need to hear about these things. We need to hear about the things that make us uncomfortable, because being strong and keeping silent because it makes others uncomfortable is exhausting. I've attempted suicide 3 times in the past 20 years. Obviously, I'm such a failure I couldn't do that, right? So here I am standing in front of you and telling you my stories. One of the last 12-step meetings I went to, I brought up how my mother committed emotional incest with me and, with hindsight being what it is, was interested in sleeping with me. I was laughed at. It was supposed to be a place that was safe, right? A place where I could be vulnerable and share my story. The meeting was supposed to be a place where I could talk about my struggles. The laughter didn't do much to help my anxiety and complete lack of self-worth. So what's the next logical step when a bunch of addicts laugh at you? Tell a bunch of strangers in the theater about how fucked up you are. Now, I'm going to pull back the curtains for a second. When we first met to discuss this evening, Aaron told all of us try not to have notes. You need to bring index cards, and these 3 gentlemen followed through. I did not. I'm not comfortable talking. I'm comfortable writing. And if I spoke from the heart, it would get ugly. What it would be is an angry diatribe that calls out all of the shitty people and a lot of ugly crying. Anger is not the answer. So I'm sorry, Aaron, I brought my notes.
I forgive you.
Look at me. I'm not subtle. What you see is an outlandish, ridiculous, over-the-top expression of self. What you don't see, however, is the pain and self-doubt that constantly resonates inside of me. That little voice that tells me that I'm a failure. See tattoos, right? Plenty of them. What you don't see are the deeper meanings behind them. The impact and destruction that addiction can do to a person. The reminder to always pursue your goals regardless of what others think. To smile in the face of adversity. To remember that you're not alone in life, that others have walked the same path. And finally, a reminder to be a better person than people who created who you are. That lack of subtlety is precisely what I want you to see. Because if you're too busy looking at the ridiculousness, you won't see the broken shell of a man that sits inside. The man who grew up in an abusive household. The man who was forced to fellate his grandfather. The man who has been raped by 2 of his 3 ex-wives. The man whose mother watched him masturbate. The man who was literally called a disappointment on Thanksgiving. The man who has to constantly remind himself that his amazing and wonderful girlfriend truly does love him. It isn't going to leave him for someone better. Someone who's not broken. Yes, I've been raped. Unlike what people want you to think, it can happen. First time I ever talked to someone, I got the, dude, what are you complaining about? A woman slept with you. Also heard, oh, well, no, God can't be raped, right? I always want it. And then there's my personal favorite of, why didn't you just tell her no? So let's go ahead and ignore the fact that men are seen as sex-hungry troglodytes. Women felt empowered with Me Too. Men were ridiculed if they tried to participate. This is a huge fucking disparity, and quite honestly, it's bullshit. Violence is violence, rape is rape. We need to understand and accept that this happens. Instead of ignoring it and putting our own goals above others, we should interact like humans. We can't ignore this and pretend it doesn't happen. People don't know how to deal with females being the aggressor. We can't wrap our heads around the fact that yes, men can be raped. They can also be physically, psychologically, and mentally abused. Living proof right here. My past is filled with abuse, addiction, and deceit. The places that were supposed to be safe were the places I experienced the most pain. My family, my personal relationships. These were supposed to be the places where you go for support and to feel safe. More times than not, these were where I felt the most pain. So I had to create my own safe space. My safe spaces are places that people don't want to be. Places where people are uncomfortable and even feel are dangerous. To start with, I feel safest when I'm alone, where nobody can hurt me. But the problem with being alone is getting so caught up in your own head, you enter into a downward spiral of misery. So I'm going to let you in on a secret. My safe place is a death metal concert. Depths of Hatred is safe. Vader is safe. Dying Fetus is safe. Enthenos is safe. Flesh God Apocalypse is safe. That song you heard when I walked up here is what started me on this path. It was 1994 and Ace Ventura came out. Jim Carrey was my hero. Watched the movie and I heard that song and everything clicked in a moment. Someone felt my pain. They'd been there. They get it. I'm not alone. I literally owe my life to Cannibal Corpse. Their music has pulled me from the brink of death more than once. This music was also the focus of my master's research proposal, in which I postulated the idea of using death metal as a form of therapy for those who have survived abuse. Now, you're probably wondering why death metal is safe. You ever been to a concert, stepped into that crowd and realized that really and truly, nobody judges you. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you want to fuck men, women, or watermelons. It doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or non-binary. Your race, your sex, your religion, none of it matters. We're all equal. We're all trying to survive this hellscape. But Josh, those mosh pits are dangerous. Yeah. People are in there flinging body parts around and bouncing off of each other. But at the same time, those are the same people that will readily pick you up, pat you on the back, and send you off into the night. These are the people that will part like the fucking sea if someone gets hurt. These are the people that knows how much it hurts to be as strong all the time. We could all learn something from these people. They accept others as equals and value them as human beings rather than competing to see who's more deserving. The day before my first meeting to prepare for this night, I shared my story with a family member of mine. This woman has been in my life mainly via email and letters for almost 30 years. As I walked out of that first meeting, I saw that she had replied to my email and she offered to be there for me. To be the responsible, caring mother that I never had. The one that doesn't have ulterior motives. The one that doesn't lust after her own son. The one that operates solely based on love. What I talked about tonight isn't meant to have you feel bad for me. I don't need pity. I don't need sympathy. I need you to open your eyes and realize that this happens. Be available to be an ear for those who need it. 1 out of 10 survivors of rape is male. And keep in mind, those are the ones that report it. I can tell you I never did. I couldn't. Couldn't tell my story, couldn't talk about it because it showed weakness, it showed emotion. As a man, we're not allowed to show emotion. That's the society we live in. I have to be strong, I can't feel pain, I don't get hurt. It's not manly to experience emotions, to share feelings. It's easy to share posts, retweet, send out hashtags, and forward videos to each other. But if you really want to make a difference in the world, take a good look at the people around you. Realize that they have a story too. If I could go back and change one thing from when I was a kid, it would be to smack myself and tell me that there was someone there for me. Someone who did believe in me. Be that person for someone and you'll have made a bigger difference than a goddamn hashtag. Sometimes it takes a minute to realize that a person is there for you. So 30 years later, thank you, Aunt Lois. If you could see me, you would see I'm a sex addict, a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a survivor. But I am not a fucking victim. I am also a mentor, a teacher, a writer, but most of all, I am me.
Thank you. Thank you.